Welcome to the Brew Crew Review Podcast, the show by fans for fans of your Milwaukee Brewers.
All right, Brewer fans, welcome to the Brew Crew Review Podcast. This is Craig and Vince joining you. How's it going, Vince?
Hey, going very well, Craig. How are you?
Good. One of our most popular segments since we've started our podcast, at least, is our Rapid Nine, where we go through 9 rapid innings of questions, back and forth around the horn, so to speak, and get our answers to those.
Yep.
So we're going to make this a regular monthly podcast segment. So this is our May 2024 edition of our Brew Crew Review Rapid Nine. So let's get right into it.
And to be clear, though, quick, Craig, this is not Jeopardy, correct? Because Scotty does not like Jeopardy.
No, Scott does not. Nope, does not like that. Okay, yeah. So first inning. What brewer under the age of 25, not named Jackson Trio, are you most excited about?
Oh, that's a great question. Bryce Terang.
Nice. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think I've been pretty high on Terang for a while, as you know. He barely hits that. Interns are handing me a note right now. He's 24 years old with 182 days, so he barely qualifies for the question. But I'll say Bryce Terang. I've been high on him for quite some time, and I think he's really starting to put it all together on the field, and you can see it by the results this year.
Well, if you listen to our last podcast, you know I'm very high on the two guys we got in the Corbin Burns deal, and Ortiz and Paul. However, I'm going to go with the homegrown talent and Self-Relic. Again, seeing this guy out there defensively, and he just seems like he's going to be a spark plug wherever he's put in the lineup and on the field, and he's just got some kind of special intangible that not everyone has. I really feel he's going to be a great part of this organization going forward. So I'm excited. Even if he doesn't have superstar potential, I think he's going to be a solid contributor in the lineup for many, many years. So I'm excited about him. So, all right. Second.
Yeah, I am too. And I was also going to consider Joey Ortiz, but he's actually over 25. He's almost 26 already.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's why I didn't pick him.
But there you go.
All right. Second inning. The most valuable Brewer bullpen arm currently on the roster.
Oh, that's a good question. Currently on the roster, so we can't count
25 man, currently, or 26-man roster, I should say, not on the IL or anything.
Not Devin Williams. Then. Okay, I got it. I am going to go. Oh boy, this year I'm going to go with Brian Hudson.
Nice. That was a pick I was definitely highly considering. He's been unbelievable. And again, it was one of those off-season moves where we're kind of like, okay, this is a move, but we don't understand who this guy is. He's some random lefty. But obviously the Brewers saw something, a pitch that they wanted to focus on, and he's been phenomenal from the left side. And you can never have a valuable bullpen lefty at any point in your roster is pretty valuable. So yeah, absolutely great pick. I'm going to go with
Hobie's obviously a great pick too, and either one of those guys would be great. But I just am gonna Anyways, go ahead. Sorry, Craig.
And of course, Trevor McGill has kind of like taken over the closing role from Payamps. Well, with Uribe being sent down and with Williams on the shelf, so he would probably be a candidate. But I'm actually going to go with someone who's been our swing man. I still consider him part of the bullpen, and that's Bryce Wilson. I mean, wherever this guy can call upon, spot start, get through 4 innings in a bullpen game, or eat up some innings. He's just been a pretty valuable member of the bullpen in the roster, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with Bryce Wilson as my answer.
That's a great pick. And he was such a key part of things last year. I do think that when things stabilized a little bit with both the injuries in our starting rotation and Devin Williams coming back at the back end of the bullpen, and when Uribe figures whatever he needs to figure out in AAA, that back end of the bullpen is really going to show up nicely. And Wilson's going to be a big part of that discussion. And I do want to throw out a little kudos to Yoel Payamps, who's had a great year, and of course Hobie Milner as well. Even Jared Koenig, like all these guys have really stepped up. So I love our bullpen at this point. Yeah. Only going to get better too.
Absolutely, especially when we get Williams back, our all-star closer. Awesome. So okay, let's go to the third inning. Will the Brewers, if you were in control of the Brewers front office, would you trade Willie Adames at the deadline, or would you keep him through the end of the season?
Craig, you cut out there for a second. Could you repeat that question, please?
Oh, sorry. If you were running the Brewers, would you trade Willie Adames before the trade deadline or keep him until he hits free agency at the end of the season?
I'd keep him. I think he's too integral to sort of the guts of the team. I'd keep him.
Yeah, and I think I would offer him the qualifying offer, and then if assuming he signs a long-term contract elsewhere, we'd take the pick. If he accepts the qualifying offer, I'd welcome him back with open arms. So yeah, I agree with that same assessment. All right.
I don't want to mess with the team's chemistry. I think that this team has got some great chemistry, and having seen stuff firsthand here, Willie is the glue of the team right now. So I really think we need his leadership.
All right. Fourth inning. Who do you miss most? David Stearns, Craig Counsell, or Corbin Burns?
Corbin Burns, for sure. I think that Matt Arnold is just as good, if not better, than David Stearns, and I think that Pat Murphy is better than Craig Counsell as a manager. And we could always use an arm like Burns in the rotation.
I agreed. I go with Burns. So I almost was going to put in to be sarcastic, not the above, but because we're getting along without any of those guys. So, but anyway, yeah, Corbin Burns obviously would be the most valuable of those three, if you ask me. All right.
I think that the real question on that would be, would we make the Corbin Burns trade, knowing what we know now, a couple months into the season? And the answer for me is yes, though, on that. Even with the injuries in the starting rotation, I still long term think DL Hall is going to be a good starting pitcher, and I really love what Joey Ortiz has brought to the Brewers infield.
All right, fifth inning. There's been some drumbeats on this. Obviously, I think Will Smith, on the catcher for the Dodgers, has signed a long-term contract. So there's some scuttlebutt amongst Brewer fans that the Brewers should really consider trying to lock up William Contreras on a long-term deal. Is that something, if you're running the Brewers, you'd look at now, or would you wait till he's closer to free agency before even looking at that?
There's no need to rush this. I'd always be open to creative solutions. Catchers also do take a beating. So, you want to make sure that a guy is going to still be healthy and productive 7, 8, 9 years from now. William Contreras is still locked up through 2027, I think.
I think it's 4 years beyond this year. So 25, 26. I think it might even be 28. I'd have let's have Nevaeh check that out for us, and Scott can get our interns on that. But yeah, no, he's locked up for a while. So I agree with your assessment that there's just really no need to rush it at this juncture. Yeah, absolutely. So all right, let's
I'm all for his earliest free agent season is 2028. So his current
after the
contract
2028 season,
his current contract status is free agent in 2028. So I assume that means he signed through 2027. I think that's what that translates to.
Okay, yeah. So I agree with you. There's really no need to rush that. Anything could happen injury-wise and whatnot. For a catcher, it's a little bit risky. So so that's interesting. All right, I think we're on the sixth inning here. Who's attending games and series at AmFam Field? Who's your favorite opponent to see play against the Brewers at AmFam Field when attending?
My favorite opponent at AmFam Field is, I'm going to say, definitely not the Cubs. I really hate it when the Cubs come to town. Actually, it just ruins the vibe. It's weird. I like a good Brewers Red series. Some of the Central teams I think are fun. So yeah, I would go with Cincinnati. Their fans are not there in obnoxious levels. So yeah, I'm gonna go Cincinnati.
Okay, good pick. I'll just go with the Arizona Diamondbacks because I like seeing that team. Also like the Oakland A's a lot, but their roster's not as great right now. But just traditionally, I always like to see them at home games. All right, going on to the seventh inning. Who's your least favorite opponent to attend? If you see a series, what's that?
Wait. Sorry, I didn't let you finish. Least favorite opponent generally, or least favorite opponent to see?
No, least favorite opponent to see a game against the Brewers at AmFam Field.
Oh, the Cubs, no question about it. Their fans are generally speaking just obnoxious drunks. I don't think that they're very good or knowledgeable baseball fans to a great degree. Like, of course, there's exceptions to that rule, but I really hate the Cubs fans that come up to Miller Park. They are the worst of the worst, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I should point out that basically any team in baseball with the new rules and the scheduling format are because we play against every team every other year, I think, at home. So
Oh, no, it's still the Cubs 100% for me, Craig. Yeah, 100% the Cubs.
Yeah.
No question.
Well, I
really
consider
don't.
the Yankees because of the new rules, but I'm going to go with also an NL Central opponent. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I don't know what, I just don't like their sense of entitlement that their fans carry, and their team does travel well. Obviously not as good as the Cubs, but they also travel well, and for some reason they really annoy me when they're in attendance. So, but yeah, I'll go with
Fair enough, but I will say that I've never seen the level of obnoxiousness from Cardinals fans that I do from Cubs fans. Just personally.
That's probably true. Yeah, I would agree with that assessment. Absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the eighth inning. Here's looking a little ahead of the future. This might be a difficult question, but predict the 2025 Brewers opening day or opening season rotation, starting five.
That's a pretty tough question. I'm not going to predict the order. I will say that it'll include Gather and Hall for sure. I think that Woodruff will not obviously, if he I think he is going to come back from injury and be a part of next year's team. So we'll say Woodruff. I think that there'll be one other addition that we don't know of yet, maybe a free agent signing. Hopefully, somebody. Yeah. So that's 4 of the 5. I don't know if I have a fifth yet at this point. I think that
could be a free agent.
Yeah, it could be a free agent. I don't know. I think that Gather and Hall are going to play big parts. Let's just put it that way. I could actually see it being Colin Ray again, to be honest. Where the Brewers, it may not be the sexy choice, but Colin Ray has stepped up. I think definitely has stepped up enough to be considered at least a number 5 starter for the Brewers. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's Colin Ray, a free agent, Hall, Gather, and Woodruff.
Well, yeah, my pick's gonna be very similar to yours. I'm gonna go with the 2 righties, Peralta and Woodruff, hopefully back to full health, and then I'm gonna go with the 3 lefties, Paul, Gasser, and Aaron Ashby. Actually, I'm hoping he makes
Oh man, Craig, I forgot Peralta. What am I doing? I totally forgot my answer. I said DL Hall. I said Hall, not Peralta. So I messed that one up. I'm gonna have to redo that. I did not have my notes in front of me, so I apologize. But yeah, definitely Peralta. I still think we get a free agent with Colin Ray on the outskirts, then sort of being our 5 or 6 starter. The alternative could be that DL Hall goes back to the bullpen, and then Colin Ray's in the rotation. So I could see that going either way. But I'm gonna put Hall in the rotation and have Ray sort of as that bubble guy.
And it'll be interesting to see if both Woodruff and Wade Miley will be welcome back will come back from injury. Obviously, Miley was only under a 1-year contract, but I'm sure the Brewers would be open to giving him a contract if he proves himself healthy next year too. But probably wouldn't be at the beginning onset of the season next year, fortunately.
Yeah.
But and also I will point out at some point next season, I think we're going to see the major league debut of future number 2 or /8 starter Jacob Mizorowski at some point. Hopefully, again, that's wishful thinking, but I think he will make his major league debut at some point next season too. So that's exciting for Brewer fans. So, okay, excellent. So I think we're on to the 9th inning. Let's see. All right. Well, again, this was just kind of a general question. The new schedule format that we mentioned, where the every team is playing every team at least once, home or away, each season. Do you like that format, or do you like the older format where it was heavily weighted toward your division opponents?
Man, I'm old school. I don't even like interleague play, but for me at this point, I guess I like the new format a bit better. There were times where I felt like it was a little repetitive to continue playing, Pittsburgh for the, 13th time at home that year, so selfishly too, it's pretty cool to see the Brewers come to Houston this season and know that I'm going to see them again down here in 2 years, instead of it being 6 years like it used to be. So I'm, between every 3 years home and away. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think just because of my age, and you might be in the same boat, Craig, have a little bit of a fondness for the American League. I certainly still do, and I think that it's kind of cool thing to see the Brewers play teams like Cleveland and the Yankees and Detroit and, other teams that I grew up watching and really enjoyed seeing. So, and that's just a pure personal thing. I'm sure that, somebody 15 years younger than me has no recollection or knowledge of that whatsoever. So it's going to be, for them, it would be national league teams that are special. But yeah, to answer your question, I guess overall, if you're going to have interleague play generally, which obviously we are at this point, then I'm glad that we're going to do it this way.
Oh yeah, excellent answer. Yeah, I kind of agree. I lean both ways, but like I guess I'm embracing the new scheduling format with open arms for the same reason that you said. A little bit of nostalgia for the whole AL teams, especially as I mentioned, one of the teams I like to see is the A's sometimes. But I mean, the fact that having a 9-year-old son myself that's going to possibly start wanting to see certain players on certain teams, I don't want to have to tell them in order to see Mike Trout, you might have to wait like 5 or 6 years, and you'd be like, well, you might be out of baseball until by then.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean,
well, and you know what? That's a great point. My brother, who has kids kind of roughly that same age, he had mentioned the same exact thing to me that he's never been able to show his kids Mike Trout. It's a little easier for someone. A lot that I've been to 3 games now at Angel Stadium, and the Angels come to Houston, so it's a little different. But at the same time, if you're up in Milwaukee and you're of a certain age, you've got obligations that keep you at home more often, you've got literally no chance to see like the best player in baseball of this generation. If you're not seeing the Angels, so that's pretty cool. You're right, and that's the exact player that my brother mentioned as well.
Yeah, it's a little different here living in Wisconsin and also being able to take road trips. I know Scott's not willing to do that, but I'm willing to take my son down to Chicago. And, I have to see Mike Trout against the White Sox or whatever. But I mean,
hey man, I took your son to Chicago.
That's right. I actually have been exactly. Yeah, we've actually been there with you and your wife. So, but no,
yeah.
And so my point was we're pretty close to Chicago. We're fortunate to be baseball fans, to be able to see other opponents if you want to. However, let's say you're a big fan or you grew up a rock in the Colorado or Denver area, to travel to another stadium without taking an airplane and with children is probably a huge undertaking. There's no stadium anywhere near there in Denver. So I mean,
see
every team come in. I think it's a benefit, and that's one of the reasons I guess I like the new format, and hopefully that they keep it.
Yeah, I totally agree. So no, I'm all for it at this point. Let's just run with it so that you can see all the best players across the game. And Major League Baseball has made a point in the last 20 plus years to eliminate many of the divisions between the leagues. There used to be AL umpires and NL umpires. There used to be league presidents of one for each league, and a lot of those kind of arbitrary barriers have been torn down. So at this point, I don't want to completely erase the idea of leagues, obviously, but I think that there are certain things that we can do to market the game better to fans across the spectrum. So that's one of them.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, that concludes our May Rapid 9. Thanks for playing, Vince, and thanks for tuning in, listeners. Again, get out.
Yeah, thank you, Craig, and thank you to our anonymous source, Tom Carter, for writing the questions this week. I do appreciate that. I know that. Yep, Tom was all over that.
All right. Well, stay classy, Milwaukee, and go Brewers.
All right. Thanks, Craig. Go Brewers.